back to metals and non-metals. This is our third session about the same topic. In the last two videos, you learned some important physical properties and some chemical reactions of metals and non-metals. Today, I am here for explaining some more important chemical reactions of metals. Let's see what are the important topics of today's discussion. We are studying chemical reactions. Our topics are reaction of metals with acids, reactivity series and displacement reactions. These are today's topics. As non-metals have no reaction with acids, we are discussing only about metals. By now, you are able to say the names of many metals: iron, magnesium, aluminium, gold, copper, etc. are some examples. But what do you know about acids and bases? You have learned acids and bases in 7th standard. Do you remember their properties? Yes. Acids are sour in nature. They can turn blue litmus paper to red. Their solutions can conduct electricity and so on. While bases are bitter and soapy. They turn red litmus paper to blue. They can change the color of phenolphthalein to pink in basic medium. So these are some of the properties of bases. So you know some important acids and bases. Do you remember the table of acids and bases given in class 7? Anyway, let's see. Let me introduce some acids and bases to you. See the list. Hydrochloric acid, it is HCl. Sulfuric acid, this is represented by a short form H2SO4. The short forms are called chemical formula. Then we have nitric acid. Nitric acid chemical formula is HNO3. Acetic acid, the chemical formula is CH3COOH. Then we have carbonic acid. Its chemical formula is H2CO3. These are only some of the acids. We use these acids either in our home or in our chemistry laboratories. Let's see some examples for bases. Sodium hydroxide, NaOH. Potassium hydroxide, KOH. Calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. Then magnesium hydroxide, MgOH twice. Do you remember their uses? Yes. The first two, potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide, they are used for manufacturing soaps. While third one, calcium hydroxide, it is used for painting. Then the last one, magnesium hydroxide. What is the other name of magnesium hydroxide? It is known as milk of magnesia. It is mainly used as an antacid. So we have many acids and many bases in our daily life. We use these materials in our chemical laboratories for many experiments also. Let's go back to the chemical formula of acids. See the chemical formula of these acids. Can you find anything common in this acid? Anything common? HCl, H2SO4, H2CO3. Anything common in them? Yes. They all have hydrogen atoms. We can say all the acids contain hydrogen atoms. As a result, these acids, when they undergo certain chemical reactions, release hydrogen atom as hydrogen gas. Have you ever observed stains on kitchen slabs? Do you know why these stains occur in these slabs? It is because certain chemical reactions. We use many acidic materials in our kitchen. Curd, then citric acid. Citric acid is lemon juice, orange juice, etc. Then vinegar. Vinegar contains acetic acid. Tartaric acid. It is present in tamarind. So we use different types of acids in our kitchen. When we use these acids or these materials, sometimes they may fall on this kitchen slab. These acids slowly react with the chemical compound of the kitchen slab and there occurs a chemical reaction. As a result, there forms a stain. Here, acids react with the chemical compound of the slab. Mainly, it is calcium carbonate, marble slabs. Similarly, these acids can react with metals also. Do you know how acids react with metals? See the general equation. Metal plus acid gives salt plus hydrogen. That means whenever an acid reacts with a metal, that metal replaces hydrogen from the acid and forms a salt and a hydrogen. Let us consider some examples. We can start with our familiar metal, iron. Do you know the symbol of iron? It is Fe. Consider the reaction of iron metal with hydrochloric acid. What is the chemical formula of hydrochloric acid? It is HCl. Iron plus HCl. What happens? What was the general equation? Metal plus acid gives salt plus hydrogen. That means metal replaces hydrogen from the acid and it is liberated as hydrogen gas. Then remains iron and chlorine. They two combine and form a salt. See what happens. FeCl2. The name of the salt formed in this case is iron chloride plus hydrogen. The salt obtained is iron chloride and we have hydrogen gas. Consider another example. Magnesium. You have observed magnesium ribbon in the first video. Magnesium is in a coiled form. So we always say magnesium ribbon. Magnesium plus sulfuric acid. Can you guess what happens in this reaction? Whatever be the salt, always we get hydrogen. So we can write hydrogen. Then which salt is formed? After removing hydrogen, we have here magnesium and sulfate ions. They two combine and form a salt called magnesium sulfate. We have magnesium sulfate. MgSO4. Consider another example. We can say, take the same metal, magnesium, plus, which acid is this? HNO3. It is nitric acid. Magnesium plus nitric acid. Now, I think you can write the chemical products. It is magnesium nitrate and hydrogen gas. MgNO3 twice. The chemical formula of magnesium nitrate is MgNO3 twice plus hydrogen. We have some examples for reaction of metal with acid. Magnesium plus sulfuric acid gives magnesium sulfate and hydrogen, while magnesium plus nitric acid is magnesium nitrate and hydrogen. In the case of nitric acid, it has a particular nature. It is called oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent means something that can produce oxygen. So when we use nitric acid in these types of reactions, nitric acid releases oxygen and that oxygen combines with hydrogen to form H2O. So in most of the chemical reactions between nitric acid and metal, we don't get hydrogen. Instead of hydrogen, we have H2O. But this nitric acid reacts with the magnesium and manganese. They can produce hydrogen gas. And what is obtained in the first case? Iron plus hydrochloric acid gives iron chloride and hydrogen. So whatever be the metal and whatever be the acid, in all the cases we have a salt and a hydrogen gas. Let's see some more examples. See here, magnesium reacts with hydrochloric acid. It forms magnesium chloride and hydrogen. Aluminium, another familiar metal, which is used in our kitchen. Aluminium reacts with hydrochloric acid and product formed is aluminium chloride. Then hydrogen. We have another metal, zinc. Zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid and produces zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. See the reaction. Reaction of certain metals with sulfuric acid. Magnesium sulfate is formed. When aluminium reacts, aluminium sulfate is formed. Zinc, when it reacts with sulfuric acid, we get zinc sulfate. Observe the reaction taking place in these cases. When magnesium is treated with hydrochloric acid, see the reaction? The reaction is very fast. Can you observe bubbles here? This is the beginning. We poured hydrochloric acid to magnesium. Immediately it reacts with metal and forms bubbles. The formation of bubbles says hydrogen gas is produced. Then after few seconds, the reaction becomes more vigorous. Again, more bubbles are formed. In the last case, it becomes more and more fast. This is the reaction of magnesium with hydrochloric acid. See the reaction of zinc with acid. Is it same as in the case of magnesium? No, it is slower than the first case. In this case also bubbles are produced, but it is not so much as in the first case. There is also chemical reaction. See another diagram. What is given here? Here we have copper metal, hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. What is observed in the first figure? Can you see any bubbles? No. If there is no bubbles, if there is no color change, we can say there is no chemical reactions. That means copper has no reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid. See the second figure? There is bubbles. That means there is a chemical reaction. But one more important point is there. What is that? The test tube is heated. That means the reaction takes place only by heating. It says that copper cannot react with hydrochloric acid, but it can react with hot sulfuric acid. When hot sulfuric acid is added, copper starts to react. As a result, this reaction takes place. Bubbles are produced. Then there is a question. How can we say in all these cases hydrogen gas is produced? Can we see them? Not possible. It's a colorless gas. So we cannot see hydrogen gas. Then how can we say there is hydrogen? You have learned a confirmatory test for carbon dioxide in 7th standard. Do you remember that? A lime water test? Yes. Similarly, we have a confirmatory test for hydrogen also. If we bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube, if hydrogen gas is produced inside, we can hear a pop sound. That means hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound. Only hydrogen gas can produce a pop sound. So this is a test for hydrogen. What is the test for hydrogen? In a chemical reaction, if hydrogen gas is produced, that gas burns with a pop sound. We can test this by using a burning matchstick or a burning candle. See the diagram? In the test tube, we have zinc metal and sulfuric acid. After the chemical reaction, hydrogen gas is produced. This gas passes through a delivery tube and it is passed through a soap solution. We use soap solution here to identify the location of hydrogen gas. So bubbles are formed which is filled with hydrogen. So we can easily locate the position of hydrogen. When we bring the burning matchstick near these bubbles, we can hear a pop sound. The hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound. So thus, this is a confirmatory test for hydrogen. From these examples, we can come to a conclusion. See, what's our conclusion? Metal plus acid gives salt plus hydrogen. Then when metal reacts with hydrochloric acid, chloride salts are produced. We observed iron plus hydrochloric acid produces iron chloride. Then when metals react with sulfuric acid, what is formed? Metal sulfate is formed. Magnesium sulfate. We observe the reaction. When metal reacts with nitric acid, what is produced? Metal nitrate. So this is a conclusion or general form of these reactions. And what do you think about the reaction of metals with bases? The reaction between acid and metal is common and simple. But actually, the reaction between a metal and base is a complex one. Because the base itself contains some metal. So this is a complicated reaction. But it happens only in the case of reactions of strong bases like sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide with a certain metal, zinc and aluminium. Let's see one example. See, when zinc granules are heated with sodium hydroxide solution, sodium zincate is formed along with the liberation of hydrogen gas. What is the equation? NaOH plus Zn gives Na2ZnO2 plus hydrogen. It's only a few reactions occur in the case of reaction between metals and non-metals. So far, we discussed many reactions of metals. Metals can react with oxygen, water, acids and bases. If we analyze all these reactions, we can see that different metals react with different materials in different manner. That means some of the metals can react vigorously with others, some others can react in a moderate rate, while some other metals do not react or they have a very slow reaction. So based on their reactivity, we have a series of metals. That series is known as reactivity series. What is reactivity series? A series of metals in which metals are arranged in the order of decreasing reactivity. That means the highly reactive metals are arranged at the top of the series. As we move down the series, the reactivity of metals decreases. And at the very bottom of the series, we have less reactive metals. They sometimes do not react with any other materials. Let's see the series. Can you see the series? Potassium, sodium, lithium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, and finally we have copper, mercury, silver, gold, and one more least reactive metal is present. It is platinum. See their reactivity. The first category of elements, potassium, sodium, lithium, etc., they can react even with cold water. That means they are high reactive. Then, while the others, as we move down, we have some other elements. They can react with water, but they can't react with cold water. They react with hot water. When we come to iron, it does not react with cold water as well as hot water. It can react only with steam. Then again, if we move down, the reactivity of these metals towards water decreases. They cannot react with water. Then see the next one, react with acids. So potassium to lead, they can react with acids, while the other elements, they never react with acids. See the reaction with oxygen. They all can react with oxygen, but this gold, platinum, etc. cannot. So this is a series in which metals are arranged in the order of decreasing reactivity. At the top of the series, we have highly reactive metals. As we move down, we have very less reactive metals. This is reactivity series. Now, we have one more reaction left. Do you remember? In the beginning, you observed the topics of today's discussion. Do you remember which reaction is left? Yes, it is displacement reaction. Displacement. It is a reaction in which a highly reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution. That means it's a reaction between a metal and the salt solution of another metal. When a highly reactive metal reacts with a solution of less reactive metal, the highly reactive one displaces the less reactive one from its solution. Did you get it? No. Don't worry, we can consider some examples. We can start with our favorite example, iron plus copper sulfate. Do you remember that reaction? When iron nail is dipped in blue colored copper sulfate solution, its color changes to pale green. I think you remember that reaction. Let's consider the iron plus copper sulfate. What is the color of copper sulfate solution? It is blue in color. Copper sulfate salt is dissolved in water. That's why we write here AQ, aqueous solution. When it reacts, you can remember what are the products. It produces iron sulfate and copper metal. FeSO4 and copper metal. What happens in this case? Here we have two metals. Which are the two metals in this case? One is iron and the other one is copper. Iron and copper. One is in the free state while other in the compound form. If we compare their reactivity, which one will be more reactive? Do you know which is more reactive? For that we have to go back to our reactivity series. See the series? Where is iron and copper located in the series? Who is up in the series? Iron, tin, lead, copper. Who is up in the series? Iron or copper? Yes, it is iron. That means iron is more reactive than copper. Iron is more reactive than copper. What is our displacement reaction? A reaction in which a highly reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its salt. As iron is more reactive, it takes copper from copper sulfate. As a result, we get iron sulfate and copper. In the 7th standard, you just studied the color change. But now, you did study the reason behind it. It completely depends on the reactivity of different metals. Consider another one. Zinc plus copper sulfate. We can easily identify the color change. Copper sulfate is blue color and we add zinc metal to this copper sulfate solution. Do you know which is more reactive? Again, zinc. Zinc is more reactive than copper. So, it is able to displace copper from copper sulfate solution. We get, what are the products? The products are zinc sulfate and copper. So, these are called displacement reaction. See the definition of displacement reaction? A reaction in which a highly reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution. This is a general form. If A is highly reactive, when it reacts with a salt solution of BC, it displaces B and forms AC and B. The reaction is A plus BC gives AC plus B. See the color change? Iron nail is dipped in copper sulfate. Copper sulfate has a blue color. After half an hour or more, it slowly changes to pale green. You can see a brown coating. What is that brown coating? It is of copper. There is a displacement reaction. See some more examples for displacement reactions. Magnesium plus copper sulfate gives magnesium sulfate and copper. Then magnesium reacts with zinc sulfate. produces magnesium sulfate and zinc, because magnesium is more reactive than zinc. Again, magnesium has a reaction with iron sulfate. It reacts with iron sulfate and form magnesium sulfate and iron. Is it clear? Did you get all the points of today's discussion? Yes. Let's go back to today's topic, summary. Today we started with the reaction of metals with acids. When a metal reacts with acid, it forms salt and hydrogen. Different examples. Test for hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is tested by bringing a burning matchstick. If it produces a pop sound, we can say the reaction produces hydrogen gas. Then the common nature of the reaction of metals and acids. When metals react with hydrochloric acid, chloride salts are produced. When sulfuric acid is used, sulfate salts are produced, while in the case of nitric acid, nitrate salts are produced. Then with base, it's not so common, only some cases. Sodium zincate is formed when zinc metal reacts with sodium hydroxide. Then reactivity series. Series of metals in which they are arranged in the order of decreasing reactivity. This is very, very important, because without knowing this series, you cannot answer the questions based on displacement. You can't say which one is more reactive, which one is less reactive if you don't know the series. So all of you please by heart this series. Then about displacement reaction. By this we conclude our third lesson, metals and non-metals. Before conclusion, write some questions. Which of the following pairs will give displacement reactions? These are some pairs of chemical compounds. Then select any 5 metals and non-metals. Write their uses. In the first videos, teacher has discussed many uses of different metals and non-metals. So you can use that videos or you can refer any other textbooks. Okay, by this we can conclude the session. Thank you.